Greetings everyone, this is Alt Lexington. How's it feel to be staring down the gateways of hell? It's the 31st of December, New Year's Eve, just before midday, on a Tuesday, and look what I've got! It's the Fek'Ihri Fe'rang Dreadnought cruiser from the recent winter event. I suppose a lot of people have spent time in the winter event grinding up this beauty, and it's a lovely ship. The design on it is awesome, especially around the back here. A lot of players say that they think it's upside down, but not me. I like it just the way it is. It's not a very practical ship. It's more of a novelty thing. So I've decided to put a novelty build on it. Something that I just find fun, sort of almost theme-ish, I would guess. So let's get into it, let's have a look at the build. Since the Fek'Ihri use anti-proton, I've gone with an anti-proton build. I was going to put on Herald anti-proton beams because they look pretty evil, but then I decided against it because there are certain consoles I'm using that would benefit from having their beam paired with them. So I went with different anti-protons instead. But it's still anti-proton, so it's still very Fek'Ihri-ish. And I've also gone without vulnerability locators because I wanted to put on some fun things instead. So let's start off. We've got anti-proton manta conversion beam array, which came from a crystalline event, I believe, if memory serves, which I'm not too sure about. And it goes nicely with a crystalline energy torpedo, which is also anti-proton damage. So it is buffed by any anti-proton buffs that this ship has. I've put on the advanced radiant anti-proton beam from the Iconian reputation, along with its console, which will give me a set bonus, extra hull capacity and hit points. So it's not really on there for the bonus, it's on there to pair with the console so I can get that bonus, because it's I put the console on first for what the console does. I'll get to that in a minute. And I figured since I'm using an anti-proton beam, I might as well put on the beam that goes with the console so I can get the bonus even though I don't technically need it. It's more, this set is more for the console than it is for the beam. But we'll get to the console. We've also got the Advanced Temple Defense Chronoton beam array, which also goes nicely with a console that I've got on this ship, which gives me directed energy weapon damage and 5% critical severity, 2-piece bonus. But we'll get to the console. So those are my forward anti-proton beams, along with an anti-proton torpedo. These two are both set pieces from reputation, and this isn't part of a set piece, so it doesn't pair with the torpedo, but they are from the same theme, even though they're not bound together like a set, similar to the way the colony deflector isn't part of the colony set, but it's still a pretty good colony gear. But I did put on the colony deflector on its own for its critical chance and critical severity. 2 pieces of the Nukara reputation set, engine and shield, because that gives you energy weapon damage for its 2-piece. And I went with a plasma integrated warp core that came as a loot drop, and it had plus 100% power transfer rate. I don't really know why I went with the power transfer rate. I just felt it would be useful on this ship, although technically I'm not actually doing anything to make it useful. And it's a pretty good core nonetheless. On the back I've decided to go with Omnis, so I don't have to always be circling my enemy. I can face them if I want, which is useful for this ship's console, the console that comes with the ship. We'll get to that. So I've gone with a standard omnidirectional anti-proton beam array, which can be crafted. Ancient anti-proton beam array, because that means I can have 3 omnidirectionals on my ship at the same time. I didn't even bother looking at the 2-piece for this because I don't have any of the other stuff that goes with it. Oh, I've got the warp core, 10% bonus. Well, that's a change I'm going to make right now. I didn't even bother to look at the 2-piece bonus, but it says 10% bonus anti-proton damage, so it might be worth actually changing this core for the Obelisk Subspace Rift Warp Core, which I believe would pair with that beam. So now, yes, I am getting the 10% bonus now, so my ship should be a little bit more powerful than I planned for. I'll just quickly save that to my loadouts. I like to save a couple of times just in case. So that was a good change that I didn't even think about. Although this warp core, it doesn't give the power transfer rate that the other one did, but that's fine, I wasn't using it for anything specific anyway. I've also gone with the Omega Reputation Kinetic Cutting Beam because it has a 12-kilometer range. And it's another Omni that can go on the back, so I've got 3 Omnis on the back. Temporal Negotiator for cooling down my heals. Kobayashi Maru, which has a quick cooldown, so you can use it quite often. And Phased Waveform Beacon to call in Herc Swarmers, which seems to be a bit more fitting for a ship like this than Delta Reinforcements or Fleet Support. 2 Lobistor consoles for their critical chance, Bioneural Infusion Circuits, and Tachyokinetic for the turn rate, because this ship would be slow and lumbering since it's a carrier, but I've decided to put on some speed and turn rate, which hence the polaric modulator from the Delta Flight episode with Tom Paris. Universal M6 computer. This is because of plus 15% bonus all damage. That will include the fiery effects that this ship has. It's another reason why I didn't go with vulnerability locators, because I didn't have any that boost fire damage. But this console will. But only for a short time, so I don't tend to use it in battle because I don't tend to need it, but it's there in case. Bounty Hunter's Friend, another lobby store console that is basically similar to a piece of armour. Very useful on keeping ships alive. It boosts all resistances. Chronoton drive actuator, which comes from the temporal reputation, so it goes nicely with my temporal beam array. And it gives you additional shield. The console gives you additional shielding, which is good, plus directed energy weapon damage and critical severity. Now here's where I went a bit fun. I've got the Omega assimilated module from the Omega reputation to go with the Borg kinetic cutting beam to make my weapons more energy efficient. But it also gives me some good crits and control effects, but I'm not really using control effects. But it also helps my hull. Universal hull image refractors. I believe this came from a recent event and I never got the chance to use it. That's why I put it on this ship. Plus it's got a nice 20% all damage, which will include my fire damage. This ship does a fair bit of fire damage. This is from the Iconian reputation, sustained radiant field, which goes nicely with my Iconian weapon. And it gives a 13.2% all damage, which will include the fire damage. Plus I get extra hull and hit points. These two consoles open the Maw of Gre'thor. I believe this is the console that comes with the ship. And it launches a huge fiery skull, a skull made out of fire, directly along your forward arc. I haven't seen much damage coming from it, and it's very hard to time it just right for whatever target you want to shoot it at, because you're having to turn into your forward arc into aiming at your target. So it's really hard to line this up, and it doesn't really do much, but it looks really good. In fact, it looks phenomenal, but it's really just a novelty. And since it's a Fek'Ihri Fiend build, I've gone with the other Fek'Ihri console from the previous Fek'Ihri ship. Let me try and remember what that one is called. The Fek'Ihri Sator warship, bloody awesome ship. And it has a fire damage boost, just like this does. But what it does is it pulls enemies towards you and you can drag them all over the map. So that's fairly awesome, that is. You can even drag bigger enemies around, I believe, if memory serves. Like in Romulan Minefield, you can drag around the boss, which annoys other players, because you're dragging the boss out of their firing arcs. But the biggest feature of this ship are these pets. They're just the standard pets that come with the ship. I haven't bought the Dilithium ones, but I do intend to, because these pets are blooming awesome. They're like fiery ghosts that you launch from your ship. They're demons that float through space, and they breathe fire over the enemies, and it looks pretty good. It's like fire breathing ghostly demons. And I've called it Reaper of Gre'thor, because I suppose that's like a Klingon version of a Grim Reaper. It feeds Gre'thor with... Every time I kill someone, it feeds Gre'thor. Feeds a new dishonoured soul to Gre'thor. The stats I've ended up with. My hull is okay, it's not great. I usually like it to be more than 100k. Shield regeneration still not great, and neither are the shields, but I don't tend to need good survivability because my heals work pretty well on this ship. Good resistances from Bounty Hunter's Friend, of course. My crit chance is low because I'm not using vulnerability locators, but my crit severity is pretty good. This is why I went with a beam overload build rather than a fire at will build. I went with a single target build, which is in keeping with firing the Maw of Gre'thor. That's a single. Well, you're aiming at one target, but it damages several around that one target. And I wanted a bit of extra flight speed and turn rate because I knew it's a carrier, so it might be slow. And most of this comes from pilot specialization as my secondary specialization. Control, not great, it's okay. Drain's terrible, but that's okay because this ship seems to be handling itself quite well, even with these low things. I didn't bother putting on the visual because the Gre'thor visual, if I can find it, there it is, just turns the ship back to its colour that you get in the Tailor. It doesn't really add anything to the ship, so I don't bother using it. I prefer my blue colour anyway. I like colours to be a little more flamboyant than just default colours. So I tailored it with blue colouring. Although in most maps it doesn't show up at the right colour. Especially in infected space, it shows up like a dirty white looking ship, which is just wrong. I've also completed its mastery. It just took me 2 patrols from the patrol selection. I believe it was Argala and Kinjar I did to get the mastery complete. Helps your hangar pets, more hit points, shield regen, shield hit points, and the trait. Whenever I launch a pet or I activate the Miracle Worker narrow sensor bands tool, a big cone of fire, a circle of fire appears along my ship's parallel and does some pretty good damage if you're close enough to the enemy, within 3 kilometers, I believe. It's like releasing a circle of fire around your ship, and it looks very awesome. My skill tree, same as always, tactical ultimate. Pilot as my secondary for the speed, that's what's giving me most of my speed, and Miracle Worker because this is a Miracle Worker ship. For traits, this is where I've gone a little different to my usual. Of course, beam damage and torpedo damage for the first 3. Plus 5% all damage from Duelist Fever. That will improve my fire damage. Wing Commander to make my pets get strong quicker. That means my lost souls. Holographic Mirage Decoys makes my hangar pets a little bit invulnerable. It's not. This is one you could change out for something more suitable. But I thought I'd give it a try since I don't often use different traits. Helmsman for more turn rate because I need to get that more of Gre'thor lined up with enemies, even though it's got a long cooldown, so I usually save it for the boss or for a big group. Not that it does much, it's more of a visual toy rather than an actual damage doer. Thrill Seeker, more flight speed, and minus threat generation, which is me being a coward, not wanting to take too much threat. This is from the Sator. Hang on a minute, I might be getting a little confused. This is from the Sator warship, which hurts foes chasing you. That's very good against the Herc in Swarm. This is the trait that comes with the ship, Fiery Entrance. That's the one that allows every time you launch a pet it will put out fire damage around your ship, and every time you hit narrow sensor band Miracle Worker tool it will do the same. Well, not every time, but anyway, anything to increase fire damage on a fiery type ship. Supercharged weapons comes from the tier 6 Odyssey. Every time I fire a torpedo I'll get extra beam damage. Scramble fighters. It helps my Hangar, my Lost Souls do more damage, and it's all a damage, so my Lost Souls Fire Breath will be more powerful. And this keeps my Hangar pets alive. Reactive repair nanites. Makes my whole heals heal my Hangar pets, and my spirit demon Lost Souls won't be hurt so bad. Reputation, I've gone with more resistance, like a piece of armor this is. Shield resistance. Speed and turn rate. And 2 for crits. So this is really a novelty build rather than a powerful build. For my bridge officer stations, as you can see, my Romulan operative, we'll go to his traits, superior Romulan operative for crits. I've got 2 of those on. And since it's a single target build, I've gone with beam overload and high yield torpedo. Although I do tend to still broadside my enemies, and it still seems to work pretty well. I'm not actually just turning to face the enemy to launch my into the maw. Tactical team, engineering team and science team for the heals. Beta to do buff the enemy. And attack pattern Omega, bonus all damage, plus its flight speed and turn rate to help me get out of trouble and turn my forward arc towards the enemy. Hazard emitters for the whole heal. And narrow sensor bands increases my energy damage, and it's quite a good increase. But it also triggers the trait for fire damage. And reverse shield polarity, because it's better than emergency powder shields, because that would share a cooldown with emergency powder weapons. This comes from the winter event. It's a training manual you buy at the winter vendor, and it's for cold damage. And it's been pretty useful so far. It doesn't look good on paper, but it seems to be working for me. It gives you a nice clicky. And I've also gone with another winter event training manual, endothermic inhibitor beam, which freezes your target. So there's two cold things on here, plus with my fire damage I've got a fire and ice build. Which Fek'Ihri are more about fire, but I wanted to put ice on as well. So I could have the opposite, so it could be a fire and ice build. Yep, the cold dishonour of the boiling hot Gre'thor hell. And for my duty officers, well, in case I fight the Borg, Neo Falconer with his both ground and space damage, and 2 damage control engineers to cool down my emergency powder weapons. Increase hull regeneration. The reason I put this on is because I was pretty stuck for choice with the officers I have, and I didn't really need anything else, so I figured why not just have better hull. And I couldn't put on that one who increases your shields when you fire energy weapons, because you can only have so many of his type of officer at a time. Sturgeant, I think he's called. Sturant. I'm sure I can find him. That's the one I'd normally do. Gain shield power when using energy weapons, but he's an energy weapon officer, and since I've already got 3 of them, I couldn't put on the 4th. And the reason the 3 that I went with, more critical severity, more critical chance, and for my 3rd one, instead of him, I wanted to go with something that increases beam overload by 35%. 35% shield penetration. This officer is awesome for beam overload. This is about, I'd say you'll be lucky to get around 50k with this ship in an ISA. That's the kind of build I'm using. But it survives surprisingly well. I mean, it is capable of doing Hive Advanced and surviving it. It doesn't score too brilliantly, but it survives. More often than not, meaning about 60-70% of the time. As you can see, I've got 700-day veteran and maneuvering thrusters. Maneuvering thrusters from pilot. And I still haven't, oops, wrong button. I still haven't spent any of my endeavour points. Just saving them up. So I'm not getting any boost from endeavours. Got my Hangar pets on attack. I pushed my weapon power up as high as it would go, and then pushed my auxiliary up to the 2nd highest, and let the other 2 lay where they were. So my weapon damage isn't that great, but it's a beam overload build, and I do seem to get an overload quite often. Let's just go through them if you're interested in the numbers. The torpedo is pretty damn weak, to be honest. It's only high yield 1. The cutting beam seems to be pretty good. Plus it has a 12-kilometer range. Now, let's launch some of those hangar pets and have a look. See what it does? A circle of fire around your ship whenever you launch hangar pets. And these hangar pets will breathe fire at targets, if I can zoom in on one. There they are, little demons in space. Although they do tend to group up like that unless you switch them to, I believe it's, you can get them to fly about. Whoa, where they gone? Launch a couple more. Boom. Boom. See, there's shielding effect around them. That's pretty awesome. Gives you a good look at them right there. They've got the scratching claw, which does damage. So this is really a build from Gre'thor, definitely. Like a bat out of hell, like a Reaper out of Gre'thor. But I usually like to leave them on attack. I don't use these subsystem targeting things, they're pretty useless in this game. Can't click narrow sensor bands right now to demonstrate that. This tool comes from having Miracle Worker specialization as primary. Similar to having diversionary tactics or threatening stance if you were using strategist. What else could I say about this build? No, you can't see that while in just parked. Let's see. Image refractors. That is pretty useless, other than for its well, I was going to say it's pretty useless, but I forgot. It's that one with the 20% bonus all at damage. Now, using the clicky is pretty useless because it cloaks you, puts your engines offline, and heals you slowly. So it's a save your skin button, I think. But other than that, the clicky here isn't very useful. It's the passive all damage is what you really want on this ship for the fire damage. Let's see what it does. So it's a cloak. And it stops you in combat. I don't think you can move while using it. Nope. Oh, you can. That was odd. It was my experience that it was halting me in combat, but that's fine. As the M6 computer, I believe. No, advanced tactical computer. Yeah, M6 computer for all damage. And I keep forgetting to click it in combat. And one of the better things of having pilot is rock and roll. Pilot as my secondary. Not that I really use that much either. So let's click everything all at once. 7,000? That can't be right. Beam overload, I think. And I've even got my Herc Swarmers out now. And look at the little things on the bottom of these Herc Swarmers. Just like the little things on the bottom of this. So they're kind of fitting. Anyway, we'll wait for a little bit of a cooldown and then we'll do a nice easy patrol to start off with. I think we'll do our Gala system, because that one's pretty easy. I mean, you can go into our Gala system without any shields, because I had an endeavour for healing hull, so I went into a Gala system earlier, took my shield off of the build, and the Kazon weren't damaging my hull at all, even on advanced, and the Benthans seemed to be taking care of them all by themselves. I was just sitting there saying, please Kazon, shoot my hull, but they weren't. So it's a pretty easy patrol, so you can't really go wrong to start out in a Gala. It's a good testing ground. So let's assist these cops. They will sell their soul to Gre'thor to beat these Kazon. I think we'll start off just by launching a few lost souls. I was too far away to affect that by fire damage, but there's the lost souls breathing their fire at it, and they're doing pretty good. Let's just let them go for a bit. We got a little fire damage on him from launching the pets, and they've gone straight over to him without me targeting him, and I'm not firing anything. And the pets are just devouring him.
You have entered an area. You are now. Looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over and ask if their boss might come out of hiding.
Where are my lost souls? There they are, but they're not coming this way. They will. Here they come. Now let's try this from the Sator, the previous ship. Is it working? It doesn't seem to be. It works sometimes. Maybe I was in the wrong position. I'm not really actually battling properly, I'm just having a look at, letting you see them have a look at what the ship does. Let's get one with a bit of health on it, like that one, and fire some cold at him. As you can see, he's frozen a bit and now he's getting fire damage as well. I don't know if that would increase fire damage or increase cold damage, but it seems to be a nice counterpoint to the fire damage having some cold on here.
Keep concentrating fire on individual ships. Separate them and whittle down their numbers.
We'll let him die and then we'll go on to the next group.
We will not go quietly.
Aha, there we go. Endothermic. That's frozen him nicely. Need to launch another pet by the look of things. But even if I haven't got pets to launch and I press pets, I still get the fire damage, I believe. Right, let's back away a little. And then approach this guy with our forward arc. A little bit of a heal. M6 computer, and there it goes. See, it doesn't do much damage unless it's damage over time, and it doesn't apply instantly. It just takes a few seconds before the enemy feels what just passed over him. Fire needs time to build, I believe. Double cold damage. Getting 3 kilometers. Narrow sensor bands. Didn't do anything. Well, I didn't see what it did. I thought narrow sensor bands were supposed to activate the trait. You can see the damage coming out of my rear arc, which burns anything following me too closely. Let's give the Herc Swarmers a chance. Everybody knows what they do by now, but still, it's nice to watch. Launch a few more pets. Let's get in close before we launch pets, so we can see if that fire damage does anything. Yeah, I believe the fire damage takes a moment to apply. It hits the enemy, and then the fires that are caused take a moment to start raging. More pets. Put some cold on him. And narrow sensor bands for the more damage. Ah yes, I think the narrow sensor bands is creating that effect. That fiery effect from my rear arc. I'll have to check that and make sure. Always like a good Tetrion pulse. Bit of damage resistance for the moment. More. You see, the more into the more doesn't really do much damage. It's just a novelty thing, really. Oh, my pets are all dead, so let's launch them again. I keep forgetting that you've got to be in 3 kilometer range when you launch your pets for maximum effect from your fire damage. Add some cold to him. I haven't really used my... Have I used my weapons at all yet? I don't think so. Let's add some cold to him. Interesting. Oh, that was the boss character, I didn't realise. The match is over almost. Go on, Lost Souls. Give him what for? On this ship, it will be your hangar pets that do the most damage on any combat pass, if you've built it around them. Because, as I say, this ship, this build does about 50k in ISA if you're lucky, and half of that will come from your pets, your Lost Souls.
We recommend that you get underway and head for secure space. There's been a lot of turbulent activity. There have been rumors. We have the suspect in custody now.
Whoops, wrong button. I wanted to depart.
We have the suspect.
So that was a good test flight, I believe. I think I showed everything except my weapons. But it's more about your hangar pets on this. Now let's do a second patrol. I think I want to do Ruins of Doom, because I haven't done that for a while. and those Discovery Klingons can be a bit dodgy to survive them. And this ship has blown up a couple of times since I got it.
Getting some unusual
since I
readings from the
unboxed it
spore
yesterday.
colonies in the system. They're mutating at an hate to.
I received this on Christmas Eve, but I didn't get to unbox it till yesterday.
We do not want to get hit by those radiation pulses. Trust me.
It seems to have changed the pattern on my hull a bit. I thought starships had running lights, so you wouldn't have to get their hull pattern messed up.
Watch out! Mokai Raiders on an intercept course.
That's lighting 2.0 for you. It's good, but it comes at a price of sometimes messing up your images. So now let's play properly. Well, I say properly, that's given my style, of course. Given my piss poor piloting style. There go my lost souls in there. See, that beam overload is awesome for some reason, even without vulnerability locators. Now, will I be able to get to that and do what I gotta do before it blows?
Let's deal with the next spore colony
Basic
before
maneuvers
the
to get out of there.
send reinforcements. Colony neutralized. Let's head toward the next one.
I thought I missed that one because I had a lot of drift there.
We're about to have company.
I love it when you got a full impulse on this ship and you get the hot rod engines. Do that again. Right, here come the Klingons. Endothermic. They didn't get my engines offline that time. Or, sorry, put them on overload speed. Miracle Worker helps me a lot because of my bad piloting style. Sorry, not Miracle Worker, Miraculous Repairs. And I'm glad I didn't go with the Herald Beams because I think having different coloured anti-protons looks a little better. And that's me spacebar spamming by accident. Right, I think I'll let that reset before I go in there and deactivate, neutralize. There, I can go in now. I've got to send Ja'ula to Gre'thor. Got to do that. Basic maneuvers to get out of there, and to help with my turning. Let's slow a bit, and send Ja'ula to Gre'thor. Freeze her. I missed! See what I mean? It's hard to target the more with the enemy. Hard to line it up. But she did leave the system. Nice. I like a good Tetrion blast. Beam overload is blooming awesome on this. I'm having to deal with my damage now. I keep forgetting I've got reverse shield polarity. And I wasted my endothermic on a small target. Herc swarmers, come save me. Maybe I do need this.
The rebels are breaking. Let us dispose of this Bachta.
20 seconds, it's supposed to restore all your health. And it is. Right, we should be good now. There, hey look, it's dragged that Klingon towards me. I used chains of fire and it did drag that one of the little Klingons towards me. But I did need a bit of healing there.
How Jahula ran like a scalded tar. She is not Klingon, and a disgrace to the memory of her honorable brother.
Hopefully she's ran all the way to Gre'thor. What's boosting me up like that? So that was fairly fun. Just having a look at what I've got here. Okay, I think it's time to do a random TFO. Hopefully it'll be a space one because my ground character is set up for winter event. Not fully set up, of course. I just have to change the weapon if it's ground. But as I say, this ship, it's not that powerful, but it's got suitable survivability and it's more for novelty, so that's why I've gone with the novelty build. I wanted something more fun. And it's nice to watch your lost souls fire up the enemy. Ah, it's Kittima. Oh, and there's another one. There's another two here. Interesting. They're gonna get some fire damage. And they're freezing as well. They're firing nice damages to us as well. And they got better builds than me. So, am I going this way? Yeah. How can you assimilate the dead? When the beam overload starts, it cuts through those probes. There's the cube. There it is. There's the more. I could have done endothermic again, but I didn't quite get there in time. Now freezing this doesn't work, this nanite thing. Oh, my shields are needing a little bit of help. Yeah, beam overload is doing its job. Alright, looks like we're going over to help the other side, which is as it should be. Bit more speed. No need to mop up because it looks like that guy's doing a pretty efficient job at it.
We will have your technological and biological distinctiveness.
And I got to freeze the gate. Tetrion blast I think hurt it. It's chaining Tetrion damage from an active trait. She's gonna get a more. There it goes. Trouble is, you've got to get within 5 kilometers to use some of these abilities. Well, that's why I launched my swarmers, just in case. I don't know why I hit reverse shield polarity, maybe I was getting nervous, I don't know why, I was at pretty good health. And Danatra's no match for... Oh, there's someone else's. Nice to see. Yep, this ship is everywhere in the game at the moment because everybody's finished their winter event and is trying it out. That's why it's pretty good to put a video of it out about now, I would think. Anyway, not bad. I'm not. Oh, I left the lost souls behind, so they're truly lost now. Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this ship as a novelty. Something to use for a little bit of fun, a laugh when playing episodes or something. But let's do another random, shall we? See what we get. I want to see it blow up. It does occasionally with this build. But I said that this clicky wasn't really useful, it's mostly for the passive all damage bonus that the console gives. But it did come in useful during Ruins of Doom, and it did work. So I might be changing my mind about it. It's a save your skin button, in addition to the passive damage it gives you. So I've clicked for my TFO, I wonder what it will be. I really like the rear of this ship. Nice and complex and lots of detail. And it's a rowing ship because it's got giant oars that row through the stars. Like a swashbuckler. It's the ship of the dead. The Barge of the Dead, but then I already called my Sator that, so I couldn't do it again. Now this should be
The time for battle is almost.
painful, doing this match. But I'll give it a shot. It's better than the ground. Just hope people deliver bombs, but they usually do on advanced. It's on normal that they have struggle. I wonder if I can deliver any bombs. I wonder, will this healing cloak work to deliver a bomb? That's something worth trying. I know quantum singularity would work. Right, where are we? Let's go for this one. Come on, lost souls. Don't let me down. We're supposed to fire at this, the forward arc of these defend heavy ships, because that's where their shields are weak, but it's dangerous to do so, and he's getting a lot of fire damage. Recover bomb? Have I got a bomb? Yes, I have. Now, I wonder, will this work, or am I stationary by the looks of things? Launch bomb. It worked! It worked! And it healed me at the same time. Is this console born for this match? Because we certainly need something. Anyway, let's go back and get another bomb if we can. We've got to destroy the small ship in front first, because I think it enhances the shields of the one behind it. Swarmers might help with that. Now we can destroy this, now that its escort ship is dead. Give the team some damage resistance. Ice build. Ah, there we go, there's my beam overload. Have I got the bomb? Yes, I have. Evasive maneuvers. Where's the next base? All the way over there. Bit of shielding, bit of healing. And target that. And my evasive maneuvers isn't giving me much. Oh, I've got attack pattern Omega. I can use that for a bit of speed. And now I'm going to have to use the Singularity Cloak, because the other one's really pulled down. Just my speed. Got it.
They're sending a Dreadnought to stop us.
Wasting evasive maneuvers to get back to fetch another bomb if I need it. Unless another team member does it for us. Better go for that one, just in case it damages the base. Actually, I lost my full impulse there, so I was spam clicking. Fire and cold. Oops, should have pressed all damage first. But that's okay, I've got the bomb.
You've got a bomb. Now destroy one of the bases.
Luckily, evasive maneuvers is back up. But I'm going to need Omega as well, I believe. Because we can't go full impulse while carrying a bomb. Bit of attack pattern Omega, see if that will give me some extra speed. Maybe rock and roll will. I don't know whether rock and roll does or not.
On an attack vector. Destroy it.
But I've got my image refractors up again, so I should be able to deliver okay. Unless someone's going to beat me to it. There we go. And we got it. Now it's attack the Dreadnought. Whoa, I pressed that at the wrong time. I got a bit too eager there. A bit more cold, anti-time. Might as well bring in the Delta reinforcements this time. Launch more Lost Souls. Put on the added damage from Omega. Gives me a bit of speed as well, but takes me away from its forward shielding weakness. Might as well hit that. I mean, we are on the boss, so we've got to fire everything we've got. Might as well try that just for the fun of trying it, even though it's not going to do anything. Always nice to see if it does or not. And he's down. You get a good amount of loot from this, I think. Base survives 0 marks. Does that mean our base was damaged or something, was it? No? Doesn't seem that way. What is that? I kind of enjoyed that. In fact, I really kind of enjoyed that because I had a team that knew what they were doing by the looks of things. They were doing their share. Plus I was able to shine a little by doing 3 bases myself, even though there's 5 team members. So that really shows this ship off, doesn't it? Let's try a full impulse, because I love those hot rod engines. And the smoke that comes out the back, the pollution. Anyway, there you have it. Ooh, a lost soul really got lost there. He got angry because he was lost. Ah, this has probably been my trait healing some of them. One of the traits. But there you go. I think that was a pretty good review doing that match at the end there. Pretty good test for this ship. So, thanks for watching. Just an ooh, look at all that loot I got. So there you have it. That's my build. And that's my traits. And that's my stations. So if you like my Fek'Ihri Fe'rang Dreadnought carrier, if you liked watching me play and having a go with this ship, please hit the like button. Maybe even subscribe, share. But most of all, I like to see comments on the YouTube channel section, because that will help out. That will help grow my channel. And now you're gonna get got by lost souls. Grandma? Nah. Hang on a minute, is he anatomically correct? This is Alt Lexington signing off, saying enjoy your free Fe'rang if you got it. I hope this video helps for you to have fun with it, because it certainly won't help you have DPS with it. I love it. It's a great ship. Bye.